Good morning, everyone. This is Jacob Folger, artist sculptor, and I kind of got some inspiration to make something, and sometimes, I don't really know what I'm going to do until I do it. I want to share that with you. I think it's important to kind of get an idea sometimes of how artists create. And so I have here my Amaco brand modeling clay. It's an air dry clay, and I'm going to get some here. I recently did a mermaid sculpture and tutorial and kind of got some ideas from that. Now I've got a box here that I'm going to be sculpting on, and I'm going to press the clay on that to get started. And just put pieces of clay on there and build up kind of a canvas, so to speak, of clay. Back many years ago, I went through a functional art kind of phase, and I was making a lot of functional pieces. Did different things. They were jewelry trays and things like that, and wall shelves and wall sconces, and so I would do like a dragon, and I would make a wall sconce to hold candles, and I did that a lot, actually. I did quite a bit of that. And actually, people at the time were not really interested in that. I didn't sell a lot of them. They were sculptures, and I guess people didn't really want to hang sculptures on the wall. But yeah, I actually loved making things like that. So now that I've got that on there like that, I'm going to kind of smooth it out and get it fairly even, just by mostly sliding my thumb over it. And I can kind of round the edges. And I'm thinking actually about making this a jewelry tray. So I'm going to bring some clay down. Now I've got a board here that I'm working on, so all of this, it will be self-contained on the box and the board. So I'm going to make a little wall here for the jewelry tray to kind of come out. And I want to do this now so I can kind of work it all into the design, and have the design all, flowing together. Widen this a little bit here and make it all very flowing and even and symmetrical and all that. I'm going to do a bottom, so I'm putting a piece of clay in the bottom of the tray. So this would be quite a large tray, and put several pieces in it. Maybe have this flowing down. coming down on this side. And I think actually I'll probably, since this is nice and round here, you know, have this kind of round at the top also. So, you know, slim that down, round it off. Make everything nice and round and smooth and flowing and a little bit off more here. So, you know, frequently when I get an idea to make something, you know, I'm not really have a design in my head. You know, there are things, sometimes I do tutorials on things I've made before, you know, but as I'm making the pieces, I'm often creating as I go. And as I do one action, another action pops into my mind. I don't always share that, you know, sometimes I just don't say anything about it. And, but okay, what we got? Let's start there. I'm going to take a brush with some water, dab off some, dab off a lot of it, and, you know, just kind of go over this and just smooth it out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going around now and just cleaning up the edges so everything is nice and uniform. I'm using kind of a sharp tool here and going along the base and just cleaning that up so everything is nice and uniform. And then we'll start working on the actual creation, and more of the creation, another phase of it anyways, in a minute. Okay, one thing I did was I went into the bottom here and I added some clay because you want that to be at least 1/4 inch thick. You don't want it to be too thin, the bottom of the tray. Okay, now I'm going to take a ball tool, and I'm going to start creating my design. And so I'll just start and see how it goes. Trying to create a little hill, so to speak, like that, by using the ball tool to engrave the clay. And then I think I'm going to sculpt in a tree, maybe. Let's see how that goes. I'm just kind of drawing in a tree, and I'm bringing the branches all the way up and over the top. Like that. I love trees. I've made a lot of tree sculptures on this channel. You can bet on that. You can go to the channel page, the front page, and enter tree into the search area, and you'll see a lot of trees. Okay. And I've also always been a big fan of moons and moon art. And these days I do a lot of two-dimensional art with that, and painting and that sort of thing with moons. Why not put a moon in this piece? How about that? So maybe spiral type moon or something like that. And then you could do, you could just do little swirls, little light swirls, little lines like that. You can carry it around to the bottom of the tray and do some designs in there as well. Maybe a spiral design in there. You can do all kinds of little tiny swirls and lines, and let's make it really kind of fun. Okay, I've got my design carved in, and now I'm going to take a small brush. I've got a paper towel here. I've got my water right here off to the side, and I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet. I'm going to dab it off so it's not soaking wet, and I'm just going to start smoothing the design. Just take my time and I smooth it out. And then every once in a while, I'll wipe my brush off and wipe the clay off of it. Get a little bit more water and then dab it on the thing. And yeah, you don't want it soaking wet because you kind of lose the drag. I mean, you want, if you're smoothing clay, you want to have drag, you know. So yeah. Okay, I've got most of the smoothing done, and now I want to release it from the board. I don't know if you've seen these before, but they're wire clay cutters, and very thin, very strong wire. I'm going to put it up against the box, and you see my thumbs are holding the wire against the box, and I'm going to pull down and release it from the box. So the box is free from it now. and pull that out. And then I'm going to hold the wire at the back down to the base, to the board that it's on, and pull that towards me, holding it down with my fingers to the board, so it's going along the bottom, like that. Not too hard. And then it's still very soft, but you want to go to the bottom and check it and smooth the bottom. Get all those areas filled in. When you use your thumb or whatever, you can smooth them. You can add bits of clay, like you can take a small piece of clay and put it in the little holes or whatever, like here, and blend it in and clean that up really good. Or you also want to go around to the back side and do the same thing there. Get a little bit of clay there and put it in there and blend it in. Okay, so I've gone all the way around the sculpture, smoothed it and everything. I put, I'll show you, put a little bit of a design on the back so everything's consistent. One thing I recommend doing is moving it around and looking at it from all angles and making sure there's no unsightly blemishes or anything you don't want. Make sure everything's nice and smooth and nice. And then when you're ready, you can, if you want, you don't have to, but if you want to finish it now or today, you can put it in the oven on an oven-safe dish on a warm setting and for maybe a half hour or so, so it'll dry the surface of the clay so that you can put a finish on it. And that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll come back. Okay, we're back with our jewelry dish, and it's all dried right now, put dry to the touch anyway to the surface. And now we're going to start the finish, and I'm going to be using Utrecht Studio Series Acrylic in cerulean blue hue. You can really use any kind of color you want, but I do recommend a darker color because we're going to do some bronze work on it as well, and the contrast would be really good to have. So if you have a cup of water off to the side, that would be good to get your brush wet and keep it wet when you're applying it to the jewelry dish. And so just get some on your brush like this and paint it. Now you want to work it into all the details. And paint the whole thing, top and bottom and all around. And it would be best if you did 2 coats. And yeah, and also a matte or you know, low sheen finish would be the best, matte or flat for this. I would recommend. And of course, you can always create and do your own thing, and if you want to use high gloss paint, you could do that, I suppose. This is acrylic paint, and the nice thing about acrylic paint is it dries very quickly. So yeah, so paint it up and we'll come back. Okay, I'm back with the jewelry dish. It's all painted. I ended up doing several more coats in the area where the jewelry will go, just so it doesn't get scratched very easily. And we're going to be working with Johnson's Paste Wax and Pearl X Pigments in antique bronze. And so what I'm going to do here is put my finger into the wax and get some wax on it, like that. And then I'm going to swirl it with my thumb, like that. And then I've got the bronze, antique bronze in this lid. I'm going to get a little bit on my finger, like that. And then I'm going to swirl it with my thumb and see how it just suddenly gets really smooth like that. And then I'm just going to lightly apply it to the sculpture. Get a little bit more wax, a little more bronze, swirl it. Every time I get the bronze, I want to swirl it with my thumb. Just going over it, you know, kind of lightly. Want to get the high points highlighted. That's the idea here. And so I'm going to go around the whole sculpture and do that. Okay, I'm back with the jewelry dish. I've got the bronze on it the way I like, and it looks pretty nice. Now I want to make it really pop, while keeping in mind, of course, that we use paste wax. Johnson's paste wax is some beautiful stuff. And if you take a soft cloth and just gently go over it with the soft cloth, you can really, really make that bronze pop. Because it's paste wax, it puts a beautiful sheen on this on the sculpture, and it's really quite gorgeous. Just go over the whole sculpture, and wow, yeah, man, that's something else. Okay, we're back, and I finished buffing it, and wow, it's just really quite gorgeous. Let me bring it up close to you. You can see it's just shimmering. Really quite nice. Went all the way around with the finish. Yeah, turned out really quite nice. And yeah, so that was a fun project, and we got a few jewelry pieces we can put in here. A couple of wraps I made. Actually, I made this wrap in a tutorial. You might want to check that out. And nothing changed. We'll put those in there. Yeah, fun project. And keep in mind that it was completely, almost conceived and created here on the video tutorial. So that's kind of how it goes sometimes. And actually, it's often how I create. I just have basic idea. I had this kind of, you know, sculpting the clay like that because I'm working on actually a mermaid video. Hopefully will be up soon if it's not already. And I did some of that on there, and I thought, well, that might be fun. Maybe I could do something like that. Next thing I know, here I am making a jewelry tray. So yeah, good stuff. And yeah, I have nearly, I think, roughly 500 tutorials on my channel. And making, sculpting, all kinds of things. And I also do painting and jewelry making tutorials, and also using your computer to make art with your creations, you know, two-dimensional art. So you might want to check those out. If you like the video, please give it a like. Leave me a comment, and I will respond. If you have any questions, you can also leave them there, and I will respond with a detailed answer. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.